Right now, I'd like to talk about using direct boxes, or DI boxes as they may be called. So when we look at our system right here, we have XLR inputs. And again, just to remind you that this XLR connection actually has a release button, so don't just yank it out. If it doesn't come out, typically it may be locked, so don't always, stronger force doesn't always solve the problem. Finesse usually does. Push the button to release it. We have an XLR female connection. Let's take, for example, we have a guitar player. A guitar player comes up and says, hey, I want to play my guitar today. I want to connect to your system. We say, great, let's connect you. He has what we would know as a 1/4-inch instrument cable, and he says, here, I'm connecting my guitar to you, plug this into your system. Well, if we look at our system, there is no physical way to jam a 1/4-inch into an XLR cable. So what can we do? Well, best way to connect an instrument to our mixer system is to use what we call a DI box, or direct box. And so I have 3 of them here that I'd like to show you. Let's start with the cheapest one. This is done by Behringer. It's the Ultra DI 400P. And Behringer, it makes okay products. They're usually inexpensive, and if you ever, when I compare it to my other high-end one, there's a world of difference in girth. This one just seems light, like you can throw it around. But it does meet our necessary, it does meet our needs that we have. So let's look at this box real carefully. On one end, we have 1/4-inch inputs. On one end, we have an XLR out, which is great. So that means that our instrument, he's plugging his instrument in with this end. He plugs this instrument into the 1/4-inch in, and it also says in and out, so we'll plug it into the end. Then we'll get our XLR cable, connect to the output, and then simply we'll go back into our snake. Voila, everything's connected, we're good to go. Check gain levels. The wonderful thing about using this DI box is that sometimes there is a ground loop or a ground noise that is sometimes generated because of connectivity or electricity or the way things are set up. Most DI boxes have a ground lift button. We simply engage it or disengage it to see if we can get rid of that humming or buzz noise. So very important, DI boxes. So this is the least expensive one. Let's go to one that's a little bit more expensive. This happens to be the Livewire Solutions Direct Box, and it has the same exact features as this one, except it has a little something extra. You'll notice we have our 2 inputs here. One is in and one is out. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But it also has a pad section, 0 dB, meaning that I don't make any changes. And we can reduce the signal coming in here by -40 and -20 dB. This is really important because some instruments, maybe you're using a bass with an active pickup, it's going to shoot out a really high signal that may be too much, and we can simply reduce that, therefore reducing distortion. On the back, it also has an output, XLR, and a ground lift cable. Definitely a little more heavy. Let's go to the other one I love to use. This is by, this is called the Pro DI, and it's a Radial, there you go. This is a Radial DI, Pro DI passive direct box. I love this. It just feels heavy. It looks nice. This one also has an input. It also has a pad. This one only has one pad setting, -15 dB. And on the back, again, it has the XLR out and our ground lift. What makes this one better than this one is some of the parts that are in there. This one typically has a high-end transformer, which allows the signal to be held great. Typically, it helps with radio RF signals. This one will work in a pinch, but if you can spend the extra money, for example, these typically maybe cost around 20 bucks. These are over 100 bucks. Some DIs can go up into the $200 range, and you're wondering what's going on. Again, it's some of the high-end components that are in there, but they will serve you well.